The new R1300 GS Adventure has just arrived in Brazil with a more powerful new look, more technology, and it even shifts gears for you. I'm Amanda Pagliari. This is the most charming motorcycle channel in Brazil, and in this video you'll find out everything about BMW's new adventure bike. I'm here in Manaus at the manufacturer's invitation to test it firsthand. And in this video you'll find out about the versions, colors, price, and of course my first impressions riding this machine. So go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel because this video deserves it. And our journey starts at the Manaus factory, the only BMW factory outside of Germany. And it operates on the completely knocked down system, which means the kits come from abroad and are assembled in Manaus. And the assembly line is flexible, allowing more than one different model to be assembled at the same time. And every 5 minutes, a new motorcycle comes off the assembly line. In 2024, Brazil ranked 5th in sales in the global market, surpassing China. Brazil is the top seller of the GS family. And the GS Adventure model is the best-selling one in the country. And according to BMW, this new R1300 GSA is the most technologically advanced motorcycle produced in Brazil. Is it? What has changed? Everything. This is a brand new GS Adventure. Of course, the concept remains the same. A cruiser for you to cross continents with this big 30-liter tank, a drive shaft instead of a chain, so you don't need to lubricate or maintain it. However, it's not just a GS 1300 with a 30-liter tank. It has some differences compared to its smaller sister, let's say the R1300 GS, which has a new concept. And here we have, besides a much more comfortable seat, the idea of traveling and a new look. So basically the families have split. So we have the GS line, slim, more for off-road, with a narrower seat closer to the F line, let's say. And here, yes, you have the comfortable motorcycle for traveling. So we have the big tank, very robust. The bike is much tougher than the 1300 GS. But well, what are the differences compared to its sister, so to speak? Here we have a suspension with 20 millimeters more travel, the subframe, the chassis, it's tougher, tubular, giving it more strength to carry more weight, support someone sitting here, and also the top case and side bags. And also in this version here, we have a technology called ASA, which is a gear shift assistant. It shifts gears for you. It hasn't arrived yet on the 1300 GS. I don't know if it will, but it's already here on this big tank, and I'll explain how it works. Its look is really tough, with much more aggressive lines. It became much more imposing, with squarer lines, different from the GS, which is slimmer. We have standard accessories that already come with it. Engine guard, center stand, skid plate, luggage rack here with mounts for the top case, and also the side cases, hand guards already with built-in turn signals. And speaking of turn signals, we already have the lighting set from this new identity of the 1300 line, which is the matrix headlight shaped like an X, adaptive for curves, so it's smart. And here we have the built-in fog lights. In some versions, you can get a guard as an accessory that makes it look really stylish. By the way, these mounts here are an accessory, and what are they for? So you can attach saddlebags here. It's pretty interesting. In the cheapest entry-level version, it doesn't come with it. But you can add this accessory to any version. In fact, BMW offers a range of accessories for you to equip. Not only the 719 options, which are some premium items, but you can also change the windshield and so on. It's worth checking at the dealership to equip your adventure. All versions have an electronic windshield, so you just need to press the button and it will go up and down easily. It's important to point out that all the technological changes we saw in the 1300 GS were also added to this motorcycle. Just like the engine, we have the most powerful boxer ever produced in series by BMW so far. There are 145 horsepower at 7,750 revolutions per minute and 15.1 kgfm of torque. If you don't know, the boxer engine has this configuration with one cylinder on each side. Of course, it's a two-cylinder. 6 gears, shaft drive transmission. The versions that don't have the ASA technology come with a quick shifter. All the technology here with levers and assistance, smoother and everything else. Versions with ASA don't have a quick shifter as it's a different technology. The telelever has evolved, which is the front suspension here on the BMW, and now it's no longer attached directly to the triple clamp, but instead has a flex element that brings more flexibility and transmits less vibration to the rider. Besides that, the electronic system has evolved. So from DESA, now it's DSA. So we have electronic adjustment on the front, on the rear, smart bike. It makes this dynamic adjustment while you're riding. It takes into account the terrain conditions, the load you're carrying, and even the riding mode. And just like the 1300 GS that has that automatic height adjustment for takeoffs and landings, here you also have this technology. If you're short, you can get on the bike and start it at a low height. Once you reach 50 km/h, it raises by 30 mm. So as soon as you start riding and reach 50 km/h, it goes up. When you get to a stoplight or you're going to park and stop the bike, it lowers by 30 millimeters. That's really cool because it helps when you need to put your foot on the ground. Our seat is very comfortable for both rider and passenger with 2 levels. It's not a single type seat. I'll get on to show you. Look, I'm 5'10.5", and with the bike on the center stand, I can't put my feet on the ground. But yes, the center stand, I can do it, believe me. In fact, this center stand has technology that makes it easier for you to put the bike on the stand, just like the 1300 GSE. Well, guys, the seat height can go from 84, the lowest, up to 89, so it will fit most riders. Remember that there's always the low kit, which lets you adjust the seat and also the suspension. The dashboard is the same as the GS family. However, of course, it got an extra sports screen, just like the R1300 GS, and of course, more functions that are here on the left handlebar. You have more buttons so you can access all the technology. And in the case of the version with the wing, it has the D and M buttons here. And speaking of technology, it comes with a lot of onboard technology, the same technology as the R1300 GS, like the radar, which is the active cruise control forward collision warning, and also lane change warning. It comes with an anti-theft alarm, which you can turn off directly on the dashboard, and also the ASA system, which shifts gears for you. To explain this ASA technology, I brought here Rafael Sansão, who is responsible for the technical area at BMW, to talk to us about this new technology.
So to understand a little more about what ASA is, it's a comfort system. It's an advancement of our Shift Assistant Pro. So I no longer have the clutch lever, but I still have the pedal. So I have a pedal position sensor in case I want to drive in manual mode or in automatic mode. But it's also good to remember that if I'm in automatic mode and want to shift gears with the pedal, I can do that too.
At any time.
It will understand and shift gears. If you don't shift again, it returns to automatic mode.
That's cool, and there's no clutch, right? The manual version has quick shift and all the technology, but the ASA version lacks it. Many people on Instagram asked about the difference between the ASA system and Honda's dual clutch transmission.
They're systems with different concepts, they're completely different builds, but both result in gear shifting without the rider needing to do anything. Here we have a manual transmission with controls and actuators doing the work, while the dual clutch transmission is a more complex build.
There are actually 2 different transmission systems, right? There are 2 sets of gears.
They're very different technologies, but with the same purpose.
So guys, it's not a dual clutch transmission, it's a BMW technology that first of all is also used abroad, right? You came here on the GSA, and the question everyone wants to know, right? Will other motorcycles come with this technology too?
That's the secret for the upcoming releases.
Who knows, right? I believe it will come not just on the 1300 GS, but on the smaller models too. For example, an 800 and 900, right?
They're secrets.
But then, how do you expect BMW's audience to embrace this new technology? How do you expect that? How is the acceptance abroad? How was it?
The new transmission has been well received. We know that more experienced drivers are a bit hesitant about these new technologies. But I think that after the first drive, he will completely change his mind and embrace this technology because it brings much more comfort. This motorcycle is for long distance rides. So the fewer worries I have and the more I can focus on my ride, the better it is for me.
Absolutely.
So I think we tend to get along really well and enter this market very strongly.
And just to wrap up, how does it know when to shift gears? Does it take into account the accelerator, the riding mode, the terrain?
The way you ride, the way you accelerate the bike, there's a programmed sequence for shifting gears at specific speeds.
Revolutions per minute?
So if I'm riding more sportily, I open the throttle more and it tends to shift gears at higher RPMs. If I'm riding more calmly, more economically, it tends to shift gears at lower RPMs.
And does the riding mode also influence that?
It does influence because
In eco mode, for example, in dynamic pro mode,
it shifts gears faster. In dynamic pro, I'm looking for more sportiness, so I tend to accelerate more, I hold the gears longer, bringing more speed to the bike.
cool, thank you. The engine had a weight reduction. There were some changes, however, it didn't get any lighter. One good thing is that at least it kept the weight of the previous version, even with all these changes, including here in the fairings and design and also in the subframe. It weighs 268 kilograms in running order, already taking into account its tank and all the fluids. It comes with spoked wheels, tubeless, 19-inch rim in the front and 17 in the rear, and technologies like hill start assist, integral ABS, 3-level heated grips, dynamic traction control, cruise control, keyless entry, USB-C port in the compartment right above the tank, proximity sensor, quick shifter for the manual versions, electronic lock, and much more. Anyway, folks, there's a lot of technology on board. I might have forgotten to mention something, so it's important for you to go to the dealership and talk to the consultant. But now, enough with the chit-chat. Let's do what we love most, which is riding the motorcycle. So hop on and ride with me. Hop on and ride with... And in this video, we have a lot of news because I'm testing a new setup here for the channel, which is DJI here. Look, DJI Osmo Action 5 Pro with the mic 2. It's in here, you won't be able to see it, but there's a little mic in here and I'm recording wirelessly. Really cool. So I can take it off here. Look, I can, record myself. Testing drive mode here, ASA mode for the first time. Look, it already switched to second gear for me. I'm in road mode. Let me close my visor here. Let me test it here. I want to leave it in, let me see, manual. I want to see how it works here. Look, it's almost hitting the rev limiter here. It doesn't shift. Let me see. There, okay, I shifted. I think this is really cool. Honestly, I found this system really interesting. I think it's a trend of the market. Many brands already have this mechanism in place in an automated way. Precisely to please an audience that either doesn't want to bother with driving or doesn't want to learn how to shift gears. My first impressions are that it shifts a little earlier than I would. So you're always in a very comfortable gear. You don't feel that engine power pushing you. The good thing is that you shift at the right revolutions per minute and save fuel. And everything is aligned, working together, right? But for those who like a sporty engine, then you just have to shift gears yourself. Don't leave it in manual or switch it in the middle of drive. So for example, it just shifted to 6th now. It didn't even need to go to 6th, you know? I'm going 70 kilometers per hour. I would leave it in 5th, but like I said, I think the bike must understand that it runs better, but I'm not riding with the engine at full power. I braked, it already understood. It started downshifting for me. But what will make the biggest difference in the riding experience is when you shift gears. And here it does it in a way that I think is correct, theoretically correct, but you can leave it in manual mode. So I think here with the ASA, with the version, with the wing, you get 2-in-1, a combo with the best of both worlds. Look. Wow, I felt it here. I don't know if you saw it on the panel, the radar worked. I got really close. And it detected it, and it slowed down for me. It's not that this system stops the motorcycle. Okay, guys, it braked. I could feel the motorcycle braking, and it kind of vibrated, but it didn't even move. And I was like, what happened? But I already knew. I was paying attention, but I was already slowing down at my own pace. But the motorcycle is smarter than I am. Let's see if in dynamic, which is the sport mode, let's say. Let's see if it takes longer to shift gears. The Dynamic Pro takes a little longer. Whoa, wow, you can feel the gears shift. It's just that you're not expecting it. When you're about to shift, you already know exactly when you're going to shift. Even so, it still shifts like it's at 72, my fifth gear. I wouldn't do that. I'd leave it in fourth, not sure. I don't think there's any need to keep shifting up. Now I'm downshifting. It still shifts up regardless. For instance, I just completed the test. Slowing down and shifting up. It engaged very easily. It had those little jerks, just like the quick shifter, you know? It only engages when you're accelerating to upshift, and it only engages on the way down, right? When you're downshifting. Here. I tested it on the bike by slowing down. I shifted up and it went. I'm in enduro mode and I left it in manual mode for obvious reasons, so I can shift gears myself. For now, it's all good. I'll leave it here in second gear. I think I'll leave it in drive. I'll leave it in automatic just to see how it is. It shifted to third. Oh my God. I'm just going to give GSA a vote of confidence here since it already shifted me into third. I'll see how it does here. I would go down to second gear here, right? The way I rest my legs here, my thighs right above the knee on the tank. Wow, I feel really comfortable. So I lean my body forward here, and I can ride without holding onto the handlebars. It's a very comfortable ride. So it's important that when you're evaluating the motorcycle you're going to buy, you don't just look at the engine specs. The motorcycle's ergonomics can sometimes be unhelpful. So ideally you should have a motorcycle that helps you, that has ergonomics appropriate for you. And of course each person has a different height, a different build, leg length. Now, yes, manual. Now I feel more, look, I feel more confident, guys. The bike isn't bad, it's just a new system. Until I get used to it, my mind gets confused. I have a routine for off-road riding, and the lack of a clutch and inability to downshift messed with my mind. I prefer the bike in my hands. You know, taking off, grabbing the clutch, controlling it. But the good thing is that there are options for everyone. We have options for that person who wants an automated bike, right? Easier to ride. And for that person who is looking for a regular bike, there are definitely options for every taste. It's impressive how the bike corrects itself. It does a lot of things wrong. And the bike corrects itself. I still stick with the version with the wing. And honestly, it's much more comfortable. At first I thought it was weird and even complained about it. Now that I'm more used to it, it's really great because you have one less thing to worry about. But of course, off-road is one thing, on-road is another, and of course it depends a lot on your skill. But I liked it. Besides the autopilot that we have here with cruise control, one more technology to make our trip more comfortable, and also a gateway for other riders who maybe haven't shifted gears before. For example, look at this. Give me your hand here. Bye. Leave a like if you're enjoying the video. And I want you to go to a dealership, test it, and then come back here. Or on my Instagram, Amanda Pagliari, the link is also in the description, and tell me what you think. Let's make a forum, a chat here in the comments of this video, sharing experiences about this new system from BMW ASA. Tell me, are you more on the team that prefers everything 100% manual, or are you someone who embraces new technologies? If you're going to buy it, get it with this windshield here. Seriously, you'll remember my words. The other windshield, the one that comes on the green one, it has some black fins. It's really pretty, but for my height, the way I ride it let all the wind through and created turbulence on my helmet. Tip from Amandinha, get this windshield here. It's wonderful. Listen to the audio, 120 kilometers per hour here, and the bike. There's really very little turbulence. Ovzinho, let's switch here to the mode. Enduro. The suspension absorbs really well. The suspension is really good. Suspension. DSR? Many people assume this bike is solely for riding on asphalt, which it does comfortably. However, we know that in the world it's not just asphalt. You'll travel through countries that... This here is the best street you'll find in the city. So for those paths, you have the GS line with all the built-in technology, with riding modes, with the GS chassis, which will allow you to go where there are no streets, where there's no asphalt. However, I think it has this versatility. Maybe not for you to ride through traffic lanes with this bike, but for sure, if you want to go on an adventure, cross continents, and take on these rough paths, this bike will... It won't disappoint when taking you there. So I think that's the idea behind the GS family, to ride on all kinds of terrain. One is more for off-road, another is less, but with all of them you can ride on any terrain. End of the Manaus expedition. Motorcycles lined up. Thank you so much, BMW, for the invitation. I loved it. The bike is much more technological, much more powerful anyway. This ASA system is really impressive. Some people will like it, some people won't. Even I changed my mind a few times in different situations. At first, I thought it was strange. Then I liked it. On dirt, I didn't adapt very well, but it really depends on each rider. The good thing is that you have both options. The look is striking, I know. In person, you get a different impression. I thought the red color was much prettier, but I want to know your opinion. Well, guys, it's available in 4 color versions with a suggested retail price starting at 136,500 Rs. The versions change, as you can see on the screen, and what changes are just the accessories. It doesn't have more or less technology depending on the version, and of course, except for the motorcycles with the wing, then we only have 2 colors for the motorcycle with this technology that shifts gears for you. Only in triple black and also in green with these golden wheels, which look really beautiful and of course are more expensive. But now I want to know your opinion. And what did you think of the new model? I know it's really shocking, but personally I think it's much more beautiful than in the photos. So go to a dealership, take a test ride, especially in the wing mode, so you can experience this technology. I'm here all sweaty in this 50-degree heat of Manaus, so I think I deserve your like and your share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click the little bell here on the side to activate notifications, because as soon as the full review video with the pros and cons comes out, this was just a first impressions test, you'll be the first to know. And if you want to become a member of the MotoPlay channel, you'll get exclusive content. More information is in the description. And above is the GS 1300 video, and below is a cool video for you. See you next time. Moto Kiss.